What's up?
Your hair is looking luscious, man.
Is it? Is it good?
I didn't say it was good. I
Oh,
said
okay.
it's luscious.
All right. Well,
I mean, I'm pretty sure last time I saw you had like a little top knot.
No, it
Now you
wasn't
have a
quite
full
there.
mane.
I know. Now I'm going full lion. That's how long it's been.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I copied you with the dye as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say you're redhead, aren't you?
No, I'm not. A lot of people think that, but it's like a dirty blonde, often mistaken.
So it's red. So it's red.
Sure, sure. Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. Whatever. But yeah, how's it going? You got your pants on now?
No. I don't. This is where they made me move to, so I'm not moving again.
Well, hey, who needs them, right? So
you can't see him.
Yeah, exactly. All good. Yeah, well, how you been, Jesse? I feel like it's been so long now. I mean, practically a year, obviously.
Been over a year.
Yeah, over a year.
I mean, it's been over a year since I've fought. I don't know when the last time we spoke is. That has to have been 2 years because I stopped speaking to you. I think in 2019 might have been the last interview we did.
We talked before your last fight because I was worried about cursing you.
Oh, yes, that's right. That is right.
And then it looked like we were all good.
You assured me that it wasn't happening anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, the other Jessicas are doing all right now.
True.
That's what I'm going to blame it on. So if something, I'm not even going to.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
Not
Move
at all. But, have you become a morning person since we last talked as well? I've seen you kind of indicate this, and I'm a little bit surprised.
Was I not a morning person?
Was I just
really grumpy? I mean, I always get up super early. I feel like I annoy every boyfriend I've ever had because of how early and how energetically I wake up. I remember I used to annoy the fuck out of Chris because I'd wake up and I'd make him get up with me, and then I'd be like, all right, blah, 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 blah. This needs to be done. When are you doing this? What's happening later today? What have you got on tomorrow? Like constant. He'd be like, fuck, will you just leave me alone for an hour?
Master planning.
I'm awake and I'm ready to
go. Really planning ahead, right?
Everyone should just wake up how I wake up. Yeah. And I'm such an overthinker, micromanager.
Yeah, that'll do it. But dogs are good too.
Yeah, they're great. They're with they stay with Serena Southpaw and her family out here in Vegas, and they love that family so much. I get so excited when I get to take them to their house because they love them so much that they just get so excited and happy, and I don't even think they care that I'm leaving. I think they're the only people that I can leave them with where they're like, oh fuck, see you later, Mom.
Well, that's good because Blue isn't the friendliest, right, with everybody?
Hell no, she's the worst. She's the worst. But she loves them because they've been looking after her since she was 12 weeks old.
Right, that'll help.
She's known them her whole life,
All right, yeah, that's good to have somebody to be able to take care of them, so you don't have to leave them like back in California, right? I
mean, I do most of the time. Okay. If I'm coming to Vegas, though, I'll bring them out because they love that family so much. And I know that they love to see Blue and Dog as well. So if I come to Vegas, I bring them. If I'm going somewhere else, then I have like 3 different sitters in California that Blue's cool with.
Okay. All right. Got some options there then. So
yeah.
That is always nice indeed. And I got to get an update on your smell blindness too.
My smell blindness? Sorry. What? I don't even know what smells are anymore. No, it comes back weirdly. It comes back like when I'm super fit. When I'm running, I'll get 10 minutes into a training session, like sparring, running, something like that, where I'm doing cardio.
Yeah,
it'll come back. And then as soon as I stop and my allergies kicking, my allergies are real bad right now because they're so bad in Vegas. Then it just disappears again.
So okay, so more
cool. I feel like every time I'm able to smell, like my brain just can't compute it. Everything smells so fucking strong, and I hate it. Like even things that are supposed to smell good, I'm like, oh, this is disgusting. Why does strawberry smell so fucking strong?
Oh my goodness.
But last time it came back, I went and bought perfume because I was like, oh, these perfumes are really nice. Like at least everyone else can enjoy me. If I can't enjoy it, at least they can.
That is so thoughtful of you. You've seen Walk Hard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I first heard smell blind. I was like, that's a perfectly hilarious term.
It is.
I smell horse shit.
Oh, now I want to watch that movie.
Oh, it's so good. It's a classic. Yeah. But it's more of a sinus thing with you rather than like a broken nose, because I know that can play a part too.
I think it's from my asthma, because I have asthma as well. And USADA won't let me use like good inhalers. They keep me on really low dosage inhalers, which are cool. Yeah, I've applied for therapeutic usage exemptions twice now. They've rejected me both times, even though I have medically diagnosed asthma. But the ones I'm on, they like, I can get through, I can train, I can fight, I can do all that. I just don't have a sense of smell. And the one that they put me on when I first got diagnosed, before USADA said no, everything was fine. Like, I could smell, my allergies weren't as bad. So that's all it is. So I'm hoping that once I retire from the USADA testing pool, it can go use actual good inhalers, then it'll come back. Fingers crossed. Because it's definitely not a permanent thing, because it comes back randomly, you know?
Okay. So not much of a breathing issue for you then?
No.
Okay.
No. It's just I'm a mouth breather anyway. So even if my nose is blocked, like, I like
you said it, not me.
Yeah, it's true. When I sleep, I'm like, it's so bad.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. Are you still gaming at all? I was curious because I know you're big into Dying Light, and I'm very excited for that game to come out as well. But still getting some time. I can't
wait for the second one. I mean, I'm replaying. So I've finished the original, so I'm replaying it right now, getting ready for the second one, because when I played Dying Light the first time, it scared the fuck out of me. I think
anytime you play at night in the game, right? The worst,
dude. I think the first time I played it, I was still living in Vegas, and I was going through camp for either Jessica I or Andrea Lee. It was one of those camps, because I remember Bo Sandoval from the PI banned me from playing it, because we used to do the what was it called? We used to do this testing thing that tested your central nervous system as soon as you woke up. And we noticed that every time I played that game the night before, like I would wake up with my nervous system fried, like, because I would have so much fear and anxiety and adrenaline dumps playing Dying Light or Resident Evil, this number 7, the first person one.
Yeah,
both of them. Bo banned me from playing them, but now, so I've already finished Dying Light, so now it's like, it's still the night missions still scare the fuck out of me. I still don't like them. I still haven't done any of them yet. Like, I'm still leaving them to the last minute, but I'm going to finish it so that I'm like primed for number 2.
Oh, that's a great pitch for Dying Light. You should get in on like selling.
Everyone should play Dying Light. Dying Light should pay me money.
Yes, exactly. Horrifying.
Dying Light gave me an anxiety disorder.
That might not be good, actually. You never got into Red Dead, right? You didn't like that very much.
It just, I play it on and off. I loved the first one, the zombie version, obviously. I loved the zombie version.
That was good.
That one I loved. The second one, it's like, I don't know. I can't handle when you have to take so much time getting from place to place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least, like, I was playing Assassin's Creed for a bit. At least you can, like, teleport to different places, right? But when you got to physically run, it's so fucking annoying. I don't want to ride a horse for 30 minutes. Like, I just want to fight people. That's it.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten very far into Red Dead, because I play it for about 10 minutes. I'm like, fuck, this is so boring. It was like Last of Us. Last of Us was a great game, except for all the stupid cinematics. And then in the second one, when you got to play the guitar because he died, and she's got the guitar, Ellie's got the guitar with her, and you have to sit there and play the fucking guitar. And I'm like, man, I hate this shit. I hate it.
Yeah, you're never gonna finish that Red Dead at that rate, then. So
hell no. I don't even know. I don't even think I still have it. I'm pretty sure I deleted it.
That game took me 69 hours to beat.
Yeah, did you deliberately make it 69?
No, I didn't.
Did you play an extra hour?
Yeah, I was like, real slow at the end, right? I just walked everywhere. Didn't even run. No. But I was like, all right, I'm fine with that. That worked out.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, perfect. Noise. Jessy, the knee, I got to ask about, how the knee's doing. Of course, you're not going to say bad, right? But I want to ask you about it anyway, because I thought it was interesting when I spoke to Emi Fujino recently, back in the summertime, I think. She had, I think, the same surgery and, a common thing, ACL tears and all that. But I asked her, like, is it doing better now? You notice a difference? And she's like, it's not worse, but she didn't notice it being better. And, she's older than you, of course, and been around. But I don't know. How are you feeling in that regard?
I mean, before I tore it, my knees always felt fine.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I never had knee issues until I tore it in that fight. So I just feel like I'm back to normal. Okay. The only difference is that through my rehab, I worked a lot more on like balance, stability, athleticism, all those sorts of things that I don't necessarily do. So I actually feel like I'm coming back stronger from the surgery, not necessarily my knee, because my knee feels the same as it did before I injured it. But my body as a whole, I feel like I just feel like a better athlete, honestly.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you about that, like the importance of continually training while recovering, because that's not something I think a lot of people do, and maybe even, master, of course. But like my mind goes to Dominick Cruz. I remember him saying like he just kind of chilled out, and crazy that he was able to do what he did after that. But like not even that guy did what you did. So I mean, it's very important, kind of you taking pieces of learning from other people, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it was more like learning from what other people didn't do. Because when I found out that I had to have surgery, I was terrified because I'd never had surgery before, right? And so I spoke to a lot of other athletes, and I got a lot of horror stories, like a lot of, I couldn't get off the couch for 8 weeks. Like I was on all these painkillers, blah, blah, blah. I took painkillers, I think, for the first 2 days. I have a little issue with taking painkillers anyway, just because I'm sober. So I don't really like to take anything that alters my mindset. But I did take it the first couple of days, and then I realized like, I don't even need these. Like I'm fine. I think I was walking without crutches 2 days after my surgery.
Oh, wow.
I was back in the gym 3 days after my surgery. Like I was physically incapable of doing a lot of things, but there was also a lot of things that I was capable of doing. I could still lift weights. Like I could still box squat. I could still do Romanian deadlifts. Like I could still do so much stuff. I was still doing bag work, but I just switched to southpaw so that it wasn't rotating on my left knee so much, like, and that's kind of what having all these other athletes tell me, like, I was bedridden for this long, or like it took me so long to come back for it. And I was like, you know what, fuck that. Like that just seems lazy, and I'd had such a good performance, and I was so devastated about having to have surgery that all I wanted was to come back, and it got to the point where Coach Kirian from CSA, plus my physical therapist from Kime, and then my strength coach Amadeo, all three of them were like telling me to chill out, like go fucking relax, especially my PT. And he's a sports therapist as well. So like he works with all the Team Alpha Male fighters, and that was how I got introduced to him, and he was amazing. Like the physical therapist I had before him, before I went out to Sacramento, had me on like the grandma program for ACL recovery. Like I wasn't fucking allowed to do anything, and I was just doing shit on my own anyway, because I was reading a lot.
Yeah. And
I was reading a lot, and I was like, okay, this is what the ACL is responsible for. These are the movements that are going to aggravate it. Like, what can I do that's not going to create that movement, And so I was back kickboxing at 3 months. I was drilling jiu-jitsu at 3 months. Like I was wrestling, I think at 6 months. Like but it was because I did everything right. And also, I think because I lift weights so much as well, that my legs were already really strong. And so in that period, what was it, like 3 and a bit weeks between my fight and my surgery, all I did was lift. I just lifted, and like tried to almost prime my leg to be ready. And then I think I only had like a half an inch of muscle wastage in my leg, which is unheard of, you know? So yeah, so I prepped myself for surgery by lifting. I didn't just take that time off and like be depressed about it. Yeah, I was fucking depressed. But I was like, hey, being depressed isn't going to make it any better. It's not going to heal me quicker. If anything, it's going to heal me slower, So but I also had a really amazing team around me that pushed me, and told me to come into the gym and found workarounds for me, so a lot of people don't have what I had in terms of support system.
Yeah, sounds like you definitely did it right, and maybe you can be an example for other people, so that's always a good feeling too. Yeah. But
I mean, I try to I get a lot of people reach out to me about it, and I always try to, that's one thing, like that's one thing, if someone contacts me about it, I'll try to be as open as I can and help as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned the southpaw thing. I don't remember if you switched it up too much, in your fights, but do you feel pretty comfortable like doing that now? Is that something we might
southpaw
see?
Yeah, honestly, like since I started switching to southpaw when I tore all the ligaments in my foot. When was that? 2019.
Okay, yeah.
In 2019, because it was my right foot and I couldn't push off it, so I switched to southpaw then. I think I did the entire camp. When I fought to fight Pani the second time, I did the entire camp southpaw. Didn't fight southpaw for a second,
right?
but then I went back to it with this knee surgery as well. So I like to switch a lot. I haven't really, I think I switched stances once in my fight with Sarah. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with both, honestly. But it's just like what I feel in the moment.
Yeah.
I can't tell you like, yeah, I'm going to switch stances in this fight because I don't know how I'm going to feel.
Exactly. So, yeah. Would you say that, like when you compare the two, maybe mentally more than anything, but the recovery and going through like the ACL tear process, the surgery, all that kind of thing, how does that compare to like the worst loss? Was it worse, would you say, or is that still the tippy top?
No, that's a good question. Because honestly, my worst loss was when I lost to Pani the second time. And it wasn't anything to do with losing that fight. There was just a lot of other shit going on. And then having the loss on top of that just kind of exacerbated a lot of negativity that was in my personal life. And I came close to retiring then because I just didn't know if I still wanted to put myself through that, because I was struggling to handle my personal life as well as compete at a high level. And that was really tough to come back from. That took a lot of, I guess the same, it took a lot of therapy, just mental therapy, emotional therapy, not so much physical. The good thing about the ACL surgery is that there's pretty definitive timelines for recovery, which makes it a lot easier to get by. Like you go, okay, at 3 months, I should be able to do this. At 5 months, I should be able to do this. So that definitely makes it easier. When it's something mental and emotional, like there's no guarantee that ever gets better, really.
Yeah, I was thinking like, man, coming off the incredible win that you were, like, for me, I'd be very devastated, like I gotta wait now. Like it stops the momentum completely. Yeah,
but everything happens for a reason. Like that was honestly, for me to have surgery after that was best case scenario, was to have an amazing fight, amazing win, and then have surgery. It'd be different if I had like a boring decision loss, so
yeah.
If I was going to have surgery, that's exactly when I wanted to have it.
Okay, well, that's a great perspective indeed, and not where my mind went. So you can see who's the fighter here. But as for that window, Jessy, like that really was, still just phenomenal stuff. And like when you look at it, was that just like flow state for you? Like I don't think we've actually got to talk about it yet since then, but you were just firing on all cylinders. Obviously, I remember you jumped on my podcast just to hear us talk about you. Geez, but so just looking back on it,
tell me how good I looked.
yeah, exactly.
Well, so like I said, after I lost to Pani the second time, I was really close to retiring.
Yeah.
And then so part of getting from that fight to the Sarah fight was I was doing a lot of mental and emotional therapy, just really trying to find my love for the sport again. And I'd said to myself, if I went into that, if I had that fight with Sarah and I didn't enjoy it, that was my cue to hang it up, to move on to something else. And I was okay with that. Like I'd let go of wins and losses and putting so much emphasis on that. And literally all my focus was just on enjoying training, enjoying camp, and actually enjoying the fight and not putting so much pressure and stress on myself. So like, yeah, I don't know. I think that's what contributed to me having such a good performance. It was just I could relax, and I just got to do something that I love to do, and there was no pressure. There was nothing. I didn't really care about winning. Like I just wanted to have fun. And that's kind of been my mindset for the last year as well, is like less focus on winning and losing. Like, yeah, we all want to win. That's how we make money. That's how we build our reputation. But at the end of the day, if I'm winning, but I hate my life, like, what kind of life is that? That's not what I want. And that was where I was at in 2019 when I was getting ready for that fight with Penny. Like, that's where I was at. I fucking hated every day. I hated where I was. I hated my home life. I hated training. Like, I hated everything. I felt very fucking alone. Like, there was just a lot going on, you know? So even now it's like, it's not like, yeah, winning is amazing, you know, but a loss is just a number on your record. Like, who gives a fuck? You know, the people that I care about aren't going to think anything differently of me, you know? And my whole goal is just to fucking enjoy what I do and make it as hard as humanly possible for someone to beat me.
There you go. And it worked very well last time, obviously. Yeah. You got your elbows in some blood finally. I know you were wanting that for a good while.
Dude, I've been wanting that for 10 years.
So yeah, that was the apex, right?
It was.
In the apex as well. So look at that. Yeah. I noticed though, Jessy, I got to call you out for this. You changed your walkout song for that fight though. And I was like, whoa.
No, that was my original walkout song. Song. And then I changed it for Jessica I and Penny, and I lost both of those fights. So I went back to my original walkout song. Yeah.
Which again, it was tied to me a little bit. So sorry.
No, that's okay. I appreciate you noticing.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I thought that was funny. But all right, there we go. So not going to use it this time, right?
I am using it this time.
Oh, okay.
Because I won. I mean, I'm using my.
No, I meant Heartbreaker.
I meant my song.
Yeah.
No, Heartbreaker's gone. Done and dusted. Never again.
All right.
Pat Benatar let me down. I'm sorry.
It's shameful, but it's funny. Like also having that fight with no crowd and doing as well as you did. Do you think did that play any factors for you? Do you kind of prefer that now? I mean,
yeah, I loved that. Yeah. I loved that because I could talk to my team the whole time. You know, like I could hear everything. I could talk back. I could like, yeah. It was just, I don't know. It took some of the pressure off. It just felt like I was in the gym, and I love beating people up in the gym. So it was just another day.
Perfect. And speaking of the gym, you've been training with DC a little bit in this camp, right? Going to his wrestling academy and stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of prompted that idea?
I realized I needed to do more wrestling. Like I was getting a lot of MMA wrestling, but I wanted to do straight wrestling because I had a really good conversation with a UFC champion friend of mine, no names mentioned, who we had a great conversation, and he was like, you know, what do you feel like your weakness is? Like, obviously you have great striking, but what do you think you can build up? And I was like, well, my wrestling. And he's like, yeah, that's going to make everything better. So then where can you go to get that? And then I hit up Duran Wynn, and I was like, because Duran had offered a few times since I moved to Northern California to help me out. And I was like, hey, you know, is the offer still on the table? And he was like, yeah, we're training at DC's every week. Come down. And then, yeah, from the first day I was hooked. It quickly became one of my favorite sessions of the week because I get the shit beaten out of me by all these dudes, you know, who have been wrestling forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so anytime I can survive, anytime I can reattack is like, it's a huge win for me, you know? So, and it's been great being, not a beginner because I've been wrestling for 10 years, you know? So not a beginner, but it's great. Like I've never done high school wrestling, collegiate wrestling. Like I've never done freestyle wrestling. It's always just been for MMA, you know? So I was a beginner in that aspect. And then it really helped me find love for it again and help me have small wins every week where I'm like, okay, like the first day, I got taken down over and over again. Okay, the second day, I started defending. Like the third day, I was starting to re-attack, you know? And so it was amazing to see just really tangible results and then having them come out in my sparring at other gyms, you know? So yes, it's been great. I really love training there. DC is a good coach. He's a really good coach.
Well, I was going to say, I imagine it's just a fun environment in general too, right?
No, not really.
No?
I mean, he yells at me a lot.
Okay.
He yells at me a lot. Sorry, my phone just rang.
All good.
Yeah, he yells at me a lot, but like in a nice, wants me to do better kind of way, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, just that you mentioned that, I don't know if you caught the fights this past weekend, but you know, Jim West and Aspen are getting a lot of flack for that kind of thing.
So stupid. It's so stupid. If she had won that fight, no one would have a problem.
That's what I was saying too. Yeah. So
yeah, ridiculous. Like they've had a fucking relationship for longer than I've even been in the sport, you know? So like what they do is what they do. They know each other. He knows how to talk to her. That's her coach and her life partner. Like he knows how to communicate with her. And literally the only reason that people have an issue is because she lost that fight. And she arguably won round 4 and 5, you know, after he was cornering her like that. Like that's what got her to go. So none of their arguments make any fucking sense. People are just so sensitive.
And you don't see her arguing either, right? Which is the most important thing.
Yeah. No, that's it. Like,
yeah, people will be, the MMA community specifically will be what it is. But Joselyne Edwards next. Jessy, I mean, how much do you know about her? She came into the UFC in this past year, right? She hasn't fought in like 8 months or so now, but really got in there quick, back-to-back, 1-1. Just what have you thought of her, and what do you think about, you know, her as an opponent here?
She's good. She's good. She has a good record. She has a lot of good wins. She's got good striking. She's got good boxing, you know. And she's big. And this is what I've been saying. Like I call myself a baby bantamweight all the time, right? Because I'm little, you know. But I feel like she's my first real bantamweight test in the UFC. You know, like Panny, I'd fought Panny before, so I already knew she didn't feel any bigger than me when I fought her the second time, you know. Sarah has gone down to flyweight now. I feel like Joselyne she's a real bantamweight. She's like the smallest of the big chicks, because some of those girls get pretty fucking big, you know. So I feel like she's my first just test in regards to that. But I'm confident, honestly. Like I knew when I was coming back up to 135, like I'm short, I have short arms, like I knew I was going to give up a little bit of size, you know, but I know I'm strong. I know I'm fast. I know I'm technical. I know I'm smart. Like strength, size is just one aspect of fighting. You know, I don't cut much weight anymore. That means I always come in super energized. Like, yeah, I feel good about it. I'm excited. She's a really good opponent to come back against as well, you know?
Yeah, it'll be a fun one. And I think it probably doesn't hurt to have, you know, Amber Leibrock helping out, who's a legit featherweight.
Hell
and,
yeah.
you know, one of your besties, right? So, I mean, just not only from a training perspective and, you know, that kind of thing, but is it good to have that support? You know, I see you talk about her and all that stuff, but, you know, just having somebody like that help you out the way she does overall.
Fuck yes. I love Amber. Honestly, like, the reason she ended up in my corner was because when I was getting ready for Sarah, I think I was like 2 or 3 weeks out, and I was just having an off day in sparring. It was MMA sparring day, and I was just like fucking up. I was just doing everything wrong, and I was kind of like a little dejected about it. And she came in and she said like 2 things to me and just got me fucking fired up. And then I split my training partner open and busted his lip. And I was like, all right, I think I need you. Like she'd been my best friend, you know, but I'm like, okay, I think I need you in my career as well. And since that, her and I have been just really good support for each other. You know, like we talk, whether I'm in the gym every day, we talk every single day. Yeah, honestly, she's like my hype man. She's the one who gets me fucking fired up, you know, because coaching out of them are more technical, and they're calm, you know. And Amber's like, she's proper hyphy. She's straight out of the Bay Area, you know. And I love that about her. She brings out just an energy in me that I've never had anyone bring out in me before, you know. So I'm very grateful that she's here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, everyone wants a hype man, so that's perfect, right?
Yeah, but she's also, the good thing about her is that she's not a yes man. She's very fucking honest with me as well. Like she tells me, I tell her some stuff and she's like, Jessy, you're being super toxic. No, she'll say hella because that's a Bay Area thing. She's like, Jessy, you're being hella toxic right now. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. I'll calm down.
Yeah, all right. We'll put you in check a little bit. So.
Yeah.
But I gotta also mention another one of your friends, because we talk about her all the time. You know where I'm going. Kanako.
I don't know where she is. I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her since before her fight.
Okay. So you did see her before then, though.
Yeah, well, she did. She finished off camp with us.
Right,
she always does camp with us, you know. But I haven't seen her since. I know she had surgery.
Yeah,
I see her every now and then on Instagram, but I don't. Yeah. Well, it's hard because the language barrier as well. It's even hard to communicate, you know, from afar via text. Like it's difficult. But I wish she would come back. I love Kanako.
Yeah, I know Kanako is the best. That is always somebody we got to talk about. But I wanted to ask you, like, man, I feel bad for whoever she's fighting next, right?
Oh yeah.
It's not gonna be good.
Yeah. She's a fucking bad woman. Like, I know her last fight didn't go so well, but she is a bad woman. And the difference between when she did camp with us last time and doing camp with us now is that we have the whole El Nino crew with us now as well, and we go and train at Team Alpha now. So we have like a lot more, just a much larger team. Like before, we only had, there was like 5 or 6 of us. There was only a small handful of us on the team, and now we've expanded and we cross train a lot. We're like, if she gets the opportunity to train with all those people as well, like she's gonna come back savage.
Yeah. I've seen you actually training with like Shinju a little bit, and some of them. So when did that start then? Because that's a newer thing.
So Gil Melendez coaches at our gym Tuesdays and Fridays, twice a week, and then I go out there. The whole team goes out there on Mondays. I don't go out on Mondays. I go to Alpha Male, but then I go out to El Nino on Wednesday nights. So I get to train with them 3 times a week. Which is cool. So I want to say it's been probably 9 months. I know they started right after my surgery.
Okay. All right. That's pretty cool though. I mean, lots of different looks for sure. And can't go wrong with some of those.
And some of them are like good grapplers. And that's what we needed, because we all have great strikers. Like, we're a striking gym, and then adding in the Melendez, like Gilbert's incredible coach as well. And adding in his style of MMA and grappling, and just having his, even just his mentality on the mats it's been a game changer for the whole gym.
Yeah, I can imagine, he's a guy who's also, of course, seen a lot. So it definitely helps. But also, Jessy, since we last spoke, there was kind of a thing with Monster. And, I just was curious, if you didn't mind, what are your thoughts on that whole mess? Because it's kind of died down a lot now, obviously. And Dominick actually spoke about it on Ariel's show last week or whatever and said he's all good. But what did you kind of make of all
said
that?
he was still open to
Yes, he said he was okay with Monster. But
yeah, but like his whole argument was that Hans was a clout chaser, but Hans isn't using Dom's name for fucking anything. Dom's the one who brought him up in that interview and was like, "Oh, I'll still fight him for charity." Like, who's clout chasing now, Dominick Cruz? I don't know. That whole thing pissed me off because, one, like, I've been friends with Hans since before I was ever on the Monster team. He was one of the very first friends that I made when I moved to the US. His kids call me Auntie Jessy. Like, I'm super close with his wife. Like, he's such a fucking great man, and he goes out of his way to help everyone that he can. And for Dom to turn around and do that, because I don't know what his reason was, because he was still contracted by Monster. He was still getting paid every month by them. Like, I don't know what created that, but he put all of us on the chopping block. I nearly lost my job. Like, we all almost lost our job because of him, because he was fucking selfish. So I'm glad that they've worked stuff out, because I don't care about Dominick Cruz at all. But I'm glad for Hans's sake that they've worked it out, because it put so much stress on him, because him and Dom have been friends for years, and that was heartbreaking to have someone that you thought was a friend call you out publicly like that when you hadn't done anything to them. Like, that was fucked up. That was a dick move, And so, yeah, I'm glad that it's kind of washed away now, because I don't know that many people understand how much damage Dominick did, not just to Hans, but to all of us, to every single person on the Monster team. He jeopardized all of our jobs, and I'll forever be angry at him about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a crazy and interesting point when you think about that. It was on that was like the final moment before going into the pay-per-view, so a lot of eyeballs and coming from him and everything. And then the aftermath with everybody kind of talking about it. And I remember Rampage did come out and say kind of similar things that you are. So there were some people which were also on his side, right? So
I showed support. I was going to do an MMA junkie interview, and we just couldn't find the time to do it. Because I wanted to show support for Hans, because I know personally how much he's helped me, and I've watched how much he's helped other people, and I just couldn't believe that someone would do that. It was fucked up.
Got their motives, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's for sure. Maybe his relationship is different to what our relationship is.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not privy to that.
Yeah,
I'm sure he was very justified within his own mind.
Right. Best way to put it. We will leave it there.
Yes.
Back to you, Jessy. I know you're going step by step right now, so I won't ask you kind of what you think the path going forward will be for you, because the division is pretty wide open at the moment. You know, Nunes looking for challengers all the time. But I want to go back a little bit, like to the days when you were on the, Australian, women's regional scene a little bit. And looking back now, it was, 10 years ago, so plenty of time between. But I'm curious, what do you remember like most about that time? What stands out to you about the scene, having seen everything you've seen from them? I just said seen a lot, but
Yes,
like, what do you remember most about the area and all that specifically in your career, for you and just around you, the environment?
So what I remember most about my career back in Australia, honestly, like, and this is one thing that I do really miss, is like when we would fight on the regional shows in Australia, like everyone was there for you. They were either there for you or they were there for your opponent. But either way, like the energy was just insane always. I remember when I won my first title, my dad and all his friends, that was when I had my hot pink short dude.
Oh, yeah.
My dad and all his friends all had hot pink wigs. They were wearing pink Zeke. My dad almost got kicked out because he was drunk as fuck. But it was just, that was what it was. Like, we were always fighting in bars. Like, the venue was always a pub. It was always a bar. It was always a beer garden, So everyone would just be drunk as fuck and just enjoying it, And it's I don't know. It's different. It's different. Granted, like, since I've been in the States, I've fought on Invicta, which has diehard fans turn up, So that's not really... That's not a comparison, because that was pretty similar to what it was in Australia with just diehards, But it's different to fighting in the UFC. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's not as intimate. And I feel like that's maybe why I like fighting at the Apex, because it does remind me of that. Okay. When I was warming up for the Sarah fight, like, there was just a bunch of us in one big room, right? Like, when I was in Sydney for the UFC, I had my own room. When I was in Singapore, like, I had my own section, When I was in Moscow, I had my own room. And then I go fight in the Apex, and I'm like, there's just 12 of us dumped in one room. And I'm like, oh, this feels like I'm back on a regional show.
Yeah.
That was exactly what I said to Kieran. I was like, oh, this feels like way back, And it was nice. I feel like I've missed that. I've missed just the intimacy of just being able to focus on the fight. And yeah, I think that's one thing I really loved about fighting in Australia, was just the crowd energy, and having all your friends there. Like, now I fight and I don't really have anyone here with me, So I miss that. I miss having my friends, my family, like my whole team, everyone from our gym would be there. It's hard when you fight in the UFC, especially when you travel to fight. Like, your team can't come with you, So.
Right. So do you think that's just a regional scene thing in general around the world, or does it kind of stand out for Australia? No,
I definitely think it's a regional thing. It's just like, because I've cornered on a lot of regional shows out here, and it's the same. It's the same. Like, that is the difference between regional and then a promotion like Bellator, or a promotion like the UFC. It's just not as intimate anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also the goal, right? To get away from that in a way. True. And since we're speaking of Australia, Jessy, my curiosity now brings me to wondering, how's your American accent?
No, fuck off. I don't know what to say. I was on the phone. I was on the phone the other day to Chris Cole. He's an X Games skateboarder, whatever. I don't know skateboarding, but I was on the phone to him. I was FaceTiming him, and he's like, oh, my other Aussie friend is about to turn up, this other Australian skateboarder. And he walked up and he was like, how you going, mate? And I was like, oh, fucking oath. Like, hi, it's so nice to hear another Aussie accent. He's like, no, you sound American. No, I don't. So then I really haven't even been practicing an American accent, because I'm too paranoid that if I practice it, it's just gonna switch. So I'm like, when I get into acting, they're going to need to create either British or Australian characters for me, because I'm not doing anything else.
That's the last Australian bit you're hanging on to, right?
Yes, the accent. The accent and the cussing.
Yes, yeah. What is it? Don't be a cunt, right? So
don't be a cunt.
There you go. Oh, hey, you made it to the end. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you like this video and want to see more like it, give it a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Until then, we'll see you next time.